Hello, and welcome to Gwent Thronebreaker, or Thronebreaker Gwent, or whatever this is called. So, I have never played this game before, and I don't know exactly what to expect other than that it involves Gwent. I have played all of the Witcher games. I've actually also read all of the Witcher books, so I'm quite familiar with the lore. Um, I I have also played. I played Gwent during the beta. So as I understand it, it's changed quite a bit since the last time I played the beta. I know, for example, that there used to be 3 rows. That goes all the way back to the version um, that was in Witcher 3. There was like a melee range and a siege row, and now there's just 2 rows. So I don't know what other changes there are specifically, but yeah, I mean, this is all going to be like new to me at the detail level, if not at like the higher level. Let's see. We need to mess with any of this stuff. Okay, sure. Let's go. The option to skip battles? Surely not. Familiar with Gwent? Well, I am familiar with Gwent. Sure. This is probably going to be a mistake, but that's okay.
The year 1267. War hung in the air, its scent palpable. The mighty empire of Nilfgaard stood poised, greedily eyeing the northern realms just across the Yaluga. In light of the threat, the realm's sovereigns met in summit.
So,
They made
I
declarations,
think this
pledged
is
fraternal assistance,
set before the
forged
events
alliances,
of the Witcher
and
games.
then, in good spirits,
Um,
dispersed.
I think
Among them,
the bearded guy in that last
Queen
cut,
of the
or
Two
last
Realms,
shot might have
Lyria
been
and
King
Rivia.
Hansel.
Know the name? Heard her beauty extolled.
Anyway, so I think this is not the Nilfgaardian invasion that happens
Remarkable she was,
during
not
Witcher
for
3.
her
It's the one that
graceful
happens in the books
exterior,
before
but for her
Witcher
persistence
1.
and courage. Where was I? Ah, as the Queen and her retinue neared her capital, Count Caldwell appeared. In Maeve's absence, the Count was to have helped her son, the youthful Prince Willem, run the Twin Kingdoms.
Also, for
Caldwell had
those who
clearly
don't
ridden
know,
hard. Drops of
Queen
perspiration
Mev is
dangled from his whiskers.
Meve,
His
whatever, is
neck red and chafed from a ruff, starched stiff.
the one who basically made Geralt become Geralt of Rivia. Like, she knighted him because he fought. There was like this battle on a bridge. I want to say Zoltan might have been there too, or maybe like Yarpen Zegrin or one of the other dwarves and a couple other people. This isn't. It's like events from the books. And then like technically Geralt like abandoned his knightly vows, but like he never really wanted to be a knight in the first place, but he kind of like had to. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Um,
Hail, Your Majesty. Delighted to see you in good health. The summit, it ended fruitfully, I hope?
this is an interesting style of like voicing and like the characters
Yes,
talking.
at its end letters were exchanged, documents signed. Paper. Time will tell of what value.
I don't think I've ever actually played a game that did it quite like this
That
before.
will suffice as cordialities go, Caldwell. Tell me what's happened, for I sincerely doubt sheer longing prompted you to ride out.
Indeed, Your Grace. Another circumstance inspired me to do so. The strays of Sparla, the bandits, I was to tend to during Your Grace's absence. The situation's gotten out of hand, I fear.
I don't know if settle down means like it's not your fault or just like don't be a whiner. Yeah, I have no idea what the impact of this
I
is.
deliberated. Wasn't at all certain in giving you the task. I knew you to be an equally good strategist as I am a shepherdess. So my
Harsh.
intuition said no. Yet Reynard interceded on your behalf. Your Grace, they're common bandits, while the Count will have a host of men-at-arms to command. Next time, I shall trust my gut. All right, speak. What has happened? Be precise.
As your grace ordained, I set out and was nipping at the bandits' tails for long. We pursued for weeks, until scouts returned, having sighted the Strays' camp in the forest near Lochran. We waited for nightfall, to surprise them as they slept. Alas, it proved a ruse. We found the tents empty. Straw-stuffed dummies round the fire. Soon, we learned that as we waited for the sunset, the Strays had snuck away, rounded our positions and ridden to Hawksburn.
I beg your pardon, my lord. The tax collectors. That is where they station.
So the gold? All of it?
Oh shit.
It's stolen, your grace, but I shall do all in my power to recover it. This I vow, if it be your grace's wish.
After weeks in the saddle, your Grace's wishes are modest. A hot bath and a night's sleep in her own bed. Yet, they shall have to wait. I must look personally to this matter. Your force, Caldwell, I will now command. You... send a herald to Hawksburn. They must prepare for the Queen's arrival. Air the rooms, dust off the porcelain. Make certain they do it. Do you see now, Reynard? I believe I foretold it would be thus. My son wasn't ready in the least to rule an entire country.
I confess, Prince Willem has much to learn yet.
Yes. And very little time.
Okay. This isn't Gwent. Alright. How do I, like, right click? Oh. Weird. Click and hold. I cannot talk to this guy.
Oh, thought it were bandits riding in.
But I can steal his stuff. Having a queen, like, walk around and, like, manually collect, like, wood seems a little ridiculous.
Milka, they stretched her over a fire till she told them where she buried her gold. Rather die than tell him she would, but I know where she kept it. Sit tight, sketch it out for you.
Wait, seriously? Now we're gonna rob these people? Okay, sure. Actually, I mean, I guess I may not be giving this game enough credit if like, well, I don't know. So in like The Witcher 3, there's stuff like this that's story driven that where it, like, you know, you can just like be a jerk or not be a jerk. But there's also plenty of times where you can just like run around and rob people just like you do in any RPG. So I don't know. But at least with Geralt, like, there's like sort of a practical justification for it. Like, he's not supposed to be a wealthy guy. Although in Witcher 3, it's easy enough to become wealthy. Wait, so where is the actual? All right, I guess I was thinking this was like my quest icon, but maybe this is just dudes. Yeah, I guess it's just dudes. Doesn't really make a lot of sense either, but whatever. Anyway, but I am wondering whether they'll like punish me for like taking the gold, but I guess only one way to find out. Oh, was that the... Oh, I guess that's the little house that was on the on the map. Reynard Odo. Okay. I don't think that's a pre-existing character. Why does this have an X here? I hope that my cursor is visible in the recording. It just occurred to me that I'm not sure that it is. Oh no! An obstacle! Well, I have a lot fewer soldiers. I don't have 25 times fewer soldiers, do I? How to math. I have about, so call it 50 and 3,000. So actually I do have that many fewer soldiers. Of course, I also would be spending twice as much wood, but yeah, our soldiers should conserve their strength. I think so. I mean, if you have soldiers, you can always, like, take... Okay.
Count Caldwell rode at the column's head, scanning its flanks with a wary eye that, despite his advanced age, proved very sharp indeed.
Your Majesty! Bandits! There! At the tree line!
The Count's footmen, unaccustomed to escorting their queen, sought to shield her with their bodies and assumed a tight formation to do so. They were promptly knocked aside as Meve charged headlong at the bandits, brandishing her blade and bellowing a ferocious cry.
Attack! Charge!
And I was gonna say, if you have soldiers, you can always, like, you know, use them as use them to find opportunities to gain resources. So. Oh, this isn't options, this is just telling me that... Okay, sure. Oh, this is going to give me a tutorial, which may or may not be useful for me, but will definitely be useful for anyone watching this who has not played Gwent. I mean, if you've played a CCG, a lot of this is going to be an online CCG like Hearthstone or whatever. A lot of this is going to be familiar. So yeah, only 2 rows now, melee and ranged. Yeah, the 3 rounds thing is really important, especially. So like well, maybe this will just tell us about that. Yeah, you can only play 1 card per turn. There's no mana costs associated with anything. Okay, so in multiplayer Gwent, normally there's like basically a coin toss that determines who goes first, and then the winner of the previous round goes first. Going first is actually a disadvantage in Gwent because there's no like direct combat between cards, so like actually being able to respond is good, especially because you alternate turns playing exactly 1 card, and if you ever don't play a card, then you pass the round, and then your opponent has the option, if they haven't also passed, of playing as many cards as they want before the round is over to potentially win it. So like not to mention, like, you know, there's like things that'll, you know, like destroy a card or, you know, damage a card or whatever, and if you can play those after your opponent plays their big threat, you know, you can potentially neutralize them. So yeah, in general, not in general, it is just better to be going second. So it's kind of actually funny that ambushing is like a bad thing in this case.
Quicker they are, easier they are to target. To attack the Queen? An outrage!
Okay. Yeah, so, and yeah, the way that you win a round is by having those points at the end of the round. Or strength, as they're calling it. Strength points, sure.
Your Grace,
Yeah.
the men await. You must lead to begin the attack.
Okay, so I wanted to actually, like, yeah, I got it. I wanted to actually read what this guy does. He has a deploy ability that doesn't matter because he's already down. Loyal, boost self by 5. So this might seem kind of like odd. Like, why would you have a card that's like 5 power and then just increase to 10 power? Why not just have it be 10 power? But there are like certain effects in the game that interact with that kind of thing. Here's Count Caldwell. Damage an enemy by the number of cards on this row. Reach 2, I assume, means if he fires from the back row, he can hit the front row, and he fires from the front row, he can hit their back row. So, yeah, it says damage, by the number of cards on this row, right? So, alright, he doesn't care. What does Blitz mean? Blitz. I cannot see what Blitz means. No, that's the same. Does Blitz just mean they have an ability, or I don't know. Alright, I want to play this guy so that I can use my Arbalest to deal more damage later.
Salt of the earth, they are, Your Grace. They'd follow you into fire. You need simply say the word.
Oh, never mind. Okay, that's what Loyal does. I thought... Okay, yeah, see, I'm already wrong. Every time you use Mev's ability. So previously when I played Gwent, the standalone version, there was so like in Witcher 3 Gwent there were faction abilities. So like if you were playing as Nilfgaard, you got, what was it, you like won ties, and the Northern Realms had like extra cards, which was like super OP, and the only reason it wasn't the best deck was because Nilfgaard had tons of spies, which were also OP. But they completely removed like the spy mechanic as it worked in Witcher 3 for Gwent as of the last time I played it. Anyway, so then when I played Gwent in the beta, they had like you would select a hero, it's like Mev in this case, but there would be multiple heroes for each faction, and then they'd have a once per game ability that worked like using a card, like you could do it instead of playing a card. But this makes it sound like that this might be more akin to a Hearthstone hero power in that it says every time. So maybe they're just talking about like across all games, but that would be obvious anyway, so that's what I'm guessing. Each leader has its own unique ability. To learn what it is, just select the leader. Okay. Can I do that now? No. Her ability allows her to boost a unit's strength and add armor to it. Once every few turns. Okay. Boost an ally by 4 and give it 1 armor. Cooldown 3. Okay, so there's just like no reason not to use this as soon as you can, so that you can get started on that cooldown. Yeah, it looks pretty strong right now.
We'll catch 'em all!
Okay, so I think what we want to do is play this guy here, and whenever an enemy takes damage. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. It doesn't really matter, like, now, I suspect, but actually it might. So Count Caldwell, if he plays a copy of each adjacent unit from your deck, if it works the way that it worked in the last time I played Gwent, then unlike Hearthstone, like when you have abilities like that summon cards onto the board, they actually do trigger whatever their abilities are, like their deploy ability and this guy's deploy ability, which would mean that this guy, depending on the order in which they came in, which I don't know if that would be consistent or not, but it might be based on the order in which they entered the battlefield. Anyway, and this is assuming I even have extra copies of these guys in my deck. But so basically, yeah, when you the second one of these guys, instead of doing 2 damage, I assume he does 2 damage here, that he counts towards the total here. Should do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 or 5 damage. So we'll damage this guy because we should be able to take him out. Oh wait, no, I can't because I played in the back row. Oh well, that's unfortunate. Also, normally in Gwent you have a 10 card hand and a 30 card
We are
deck.
bombarded.
Actually, I totally didn't need to play this card. Like, I don't know why I didn't just pass, actually. I just forgot about that. Oh, it's not gonna let me not play the card? What is this? Oh, it's like the log. Okay. Yeah, I wanna like, not. Can I not? I can't not. Ugh, fine.
A lesson in humility.
Completely overkill them. Okay, so the Arbalest is coming in first. Oh well.
One bullet's all I need.
Bang. And now this guy.
This is
The strays took tail and run. Yes, our victory is assured. Sound the horns. May they sing praises of this triumph for ages.
Yeah. And the last turn of the round, press the coin button. Is this not the coin button? Oh, it's just saying I have to press and hold.
The battle's not yet done. It is better to conserve our strength. Prepare for a strike that will prove decisive.
Well, but you didn't let me. I wanted to. Drawing 3 cards. Whoa. So normally, well, I say normally, in original Gwent, I think you drew no cards between. That is Witcher 3 Gwent. You drew no cards between rounds, unless you were Northern Realms, in which case you drew like 1 card if you won, or 1 card if you lost, or something like that. And then in the beta, the last I played, you drew 2 cards before the second round and 1 before the third round. We'll play first the next round, yeah. Okay, so that hasn't changed. Okay, we'll just stay in the back. Can I use this again? Yeah. Move 1 unit to the row opposite this unit and damage them by 1. What? 1 units to the row opposite this unit. Okay, so they can just bounce their own guys around and then have all in exchange for taking a damage. I assume there's some combo stuff that you could do with that, but so I'm still not allowed to pass. What is this? I wonder if this is like the Hearthstone things, or there's like little clicky stuff in the background. Oh no, this is just telling you which row it is. Never mind. No interacting with the notification board. Okay. Yeah, I don't like, this guy is plenty powerful. I just want to end my... Okay, fine.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, a time to die.
The chase is on!
Still not allowed to not play a card. Okay.
Give me a time.
And obviously, okay, obviously I could have waited to use her ability until I had both of these guys down, and then the other one would have gotten a boost as well. But I mean, I would have preferred to just not even play him this round, so whatever.
I congratulate you on your latest victory, Your Grace. The bandits stood not a chance.
Yeah, because their cards are weak as shit.
Matters seem indeed to have gotten out of hand, to put it mildly.
Meve said, arms crossed atop her shining breastplate.
They've grown bold. Doubtless after the raid on the manor, the tax collectors. I've not heard of an ambush on the high road afore.
Caldwell explained, avoiding his liege's wrathful gaze.
Enough, Caldwell. We must put things right. Come!
The Queen's retinue set out, cavalry in front, infantry and arbalists close behind, and, following in the rear, the bandits, bound in chains.
Where am I going? Okay. I assume there's loot. Is this stuff not loot? That's loot. Yeah, it's kind of gruesome, but yeah, that's The Witcher for you, I guess. All right, so they kind of implied that maybe there was something back down here that I could have actually done, but I don't think there's actually like a way to get through to any of this other stuff, so maybe not.
Ah, I do adore this prospect.
Yes. Lyria, the Pearl of the North. With its hills and dales. Why, its beauty matched only by that of its queen.
After 3 weeks in the saddle, I've my doubts, Count. We shall pitch camp here. Our soldiers need respite. A spell of it they deserve.
Okay. Now this is reminiscent of whatchamacallit, Banner Saga. Enter the workshop. But definitely need access to a regional map. You just can't get by without it. Alright. Upgrade the royal tent. Sure. Oh. Click and hold. Alright. And now the command tent. Minimum of 25 cards. It didn't have 25 cards in the last battle. Was it 25 in the beta? I thought it was 30, but maybe it was 25. Interestingly, you are allowed to put more than the max of cards in your deck in Gwent. I'm not sure why you would, or at least you were in the beta. And I guess also in Witcher 3. But yeah, I don't know why you would, but you can. A Wagenberg. Okay. Okay. So you like play these guys, you play a bunch of other cards, you use your hero power to give them additional armor, and then you just blow something up. And also maybe what is this, like 15? Oh, is that how much it? No, it's not how much it costs, because it costs this. And maybe surely that's not the armor value. That'd be too good. And it would have a different symbol. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but okay. Oh, that's the supply. Okay. Yeah. That's like how good they think the card is, I guess. Okay. Add it to my deck. Okay. So let's look at what else we have here. Is this a gold card? So they in the Gwent beta, this was not true in Witcher 3 Gwent. They're just like, because it's a single player game, it's just like cards of different power. You collect cards, you get more powerful cards over time. There's no like real balancing of that, except insofar as like how powerful your cards are versus the NPCs you run into. In the beta, they changed it because the fact that there's no mana cost means that like you need some way to balance the power level of the cards, so that one person doesn't just have like, like you could imagine the simple case where you have no abilities, and then one person has a deck full of 10s, and the other person has a deck full of 5s, and obviously the person with the 10s is going to win. So basically what they did to do that while also still having a variety in power levels is they had bronze, silver, and gold cards, where bronze are the least powerful, gold are the most powerful, but you have a limited number of gold and silver that you can put in your deck. Golds are also immune, or were at least immune to certain effects. So it looks like Reynard and Caldwell might be golds as well as these two, and I guess the split here is like items versus, or artifacts, or maybe is what they were called, versus soldiers or troops or minions or whatever. Permanent resilience, whatever that is. When she uses her ability, reduce her cooldown by 1. Oh. Status that allows a card to remain on the board at round end, then restores it to base power if boosted. Okay, so this is like you can play it in the first round and it'll just stick around. This is actually really cool. So you could eventually get it to where you could just use her power every turn, if you get this thing out early. That's awesome. You can also move it around. I'm not really sure what the relevance of that is, but I'm also not sure if you can do that like every round. You can do that when you play it, but like after that, can you just like keep moving it around all the time? I don't know. But yeah, so it looks like these are gold cards. So in the beta, I want to say that it was, you got had 4 gold cards that was the max, and maybe like 6 silvers. I don't know if they still use that system. Whoa, this is got animation and sound effects. Boost a unit by 10. I guess, and so the other thing I was going to say about like the bronze, gold, silver is that it also meant that in the beta they had, they had different average power levels. So I mean, you could debate about like which cards were better or worse, but they seem to target certain numbers. So like the bronze cards targeted like 7 or 8 points, I want to say, and the silvers maybe like 10, and the golds maybe like 12. So it'd be like, a gold, you might have a gold card that was just like 12 power, and then you'd have another gold card that was like 7 power and would also make a 5 damage attack. So it's like the net is still 12. So I don't know if that'll still be the case, but like in terms of either the design or the numerical values. This being an apparent gold card and being 10 suggests that the numbers might have changed. It's also got this little purple icon here, which might be like a rarity thing. And this one has like a gold-orange thing. So does Reynard. Give 1 charge to units with depleted order. Oh. Okay. So I guess you can't just play orders indefinitely. I guess maybe so. Like maybe you can only do this once. Okay, so these cards are like shinies, and this one is not. That's interesting. He's got possibly a literal lapdog. Oh no, he's sick. Yeah, that's a purple card. Yeah, this seems like a really good card. It seems. Wait, he's an 8 power, but he's a 6 supply. Okay. So yeah, he seems more powerful than Reynard to me right now, but maybe that's just because I don't know what you do with orders that's good. Spawn 2 light infantry. Oh. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we saw this already. Wait, what did that say? Scytheman seems pretty solid too. That's basically Inspire from Hearthstone. Loyal, that is. Regiment Drummer. Play the top Blitz unit from your deck. Okay. Oh, so this has a charge of 1, but this doesn't. So maybe this is infinite. I don't really know. But wait, so this one... Okay, it's an order, not a deploy skill. So deploy is like Battle Cry. I'm trying to think if Hearthstone even has, like, activatable, like, post-Battle Cry abilities, like targetable abilities, as opposed to things that just happen. I want to say the answer is no, but all right. So then we have this guy and deploy, summon. Oh yeah, these are nice. So I mean, I don't know if these specifically are good enough to be worth using because they've only got 3 strength, but in general, they have cards that are like, when you play one of them, play them all. And obviously that means that you can pull them out of your deck so they get out of the way of drawing other cards. And the other thing that it means is, so there was, in the beta, there was a mulligan system. I don't know if there still is, but you would get to redraw a certain number of cards. So, you know, if you had one of, you know, a unit like this, you'd obviously throw the other ones away, and, you know, that's nice too. Field Medic. Oh, they haven't changed the art for this. This is the one piece of art that I recognize from the beta. And this line as well, which must come from the books, although I don't remember it specifically. But yeah, getting people out of the graveyard can be really good. In general, I remember during the beta, like, that being, like, the graveyard type stuff being pretty valuable. Okay, so what are we allowed to craft? So presumably, since these are gold, there's no reason to craft them. Okay, so we can recruit more arbalists and more scythemen, but not more drummers for whatever reason. We can recruit more wagonbergs. I assume these keywords matter at some point, but not more pikemen or field medics. I assume. Wait, we can recruit more arbalists even though we already have 5 of them? Huh. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know what I think there was a limit of the like number of copies of a card you could have in your deck during the beta, and I want to say it was lower than 5. It was high, I know it was higher than 2, which is the Hearthstone one, but well, insofar as having, I would actually, since there's only 2 of these guys anyway, like that's pretty weak. So I would like to replace them if possible. They cost 5 supplies. The Arbalists only cost 4, and they're like mostly just better. Wait, they have 6 power? Didn't they have... The ones that I just played with had 3 power and 3 armor in the last battle. But yeah, I mean, those just seem like a lot better, and they cost fewer supplies, which is weird, but... I wonder if the supply limit is another way. I wonder if that's going to apply to the multiplayer, and if that's going to be another way they try to like balance the card power level. That would be most similar to the mechanics in that I like, the team building mechanics that I'm familiar with from HeroClix. Anyway, so yeah, we've got that and that. Or wait. Yeah, so Arbalist, Scythemen, oh, Scythemen are even cheaper, and Wagenbergs are the things that we can add. So if we replace the Pikemen with Scythemen, or, I mean, the Scythemen might be better than the Arbalists anyway, just because, like, the total power level, like, it doesn't take much for them to gain... Oh, these... Yeah, it doesn't take much for them to gain at least 5, if not... Well, I guess it's a +4 that they get, or is my ability... Can I see my ability? Yeah. Boost an ally before and give it 1 armor. Okay, right. So, what is this 6 for? So boost an ally by 4. I mean, the fact that it's this guy versus another guy doesn't matter, but it's not hard for them to get up to 10. The Arbalists start 1 higher, but they for them to get to 10, there have to be 3 other cards on the row when they're deployed. I guess that's not, well, how hard that is going to depend on how many, like, what my hand size is, and that's going to depend on whether I get to have more than 3 cards at once. So I think, are these cheaper to craft? Yeah, they are. So how many of them can I recruit? Oh, I can't recruit any. Wait, what? Why? I'm so confused. I can recruit another one of these, but that doesn't seem like... Alright, well, how many of them? More than 1 more. Why does it tell me what the recruit cost is if I can't recruit it, but then it doesn't tell me what it is for this? Like, this is confusing. Alright, well, I'm not going to keep building these. These are expensive as hell. I'll just put these back in, I guess. Lame. Okay. Mess tent. Talk to Reynard. But not these other people. This guy passed out on the barrel over here. Oh. Grey Rider. Let's talk to the Grey Rider. Okay. He's Mr. Statistics, I guess.
A bit of respite, Reynard.
Yes. But if you've any new orders, Your Grace, I can be ready at any...
At ease, Reynard. At ease. Don't you find it wearisome sitting alone? Wouldn't you prefer another's company? Swapping tales with the innkeep, even?
Your concern I most appreciate, Your Grace. But I prefer silence.
In
Has
other
it
words,
always
shut
been
up
this
and
with
go
you?
away.
Ever a man apart?
Quite the contrary, Your Grace. As a youth, I gloried in company, delighted in conversation.
So what was it that changed you?
That delight nearly cost me my head. But do you truly not know the tale, milady? How I came to be your departed husband's aide?
I don't, but would gladly hear it.
Oh, she's got the same little shield icon as this guy.
I had but 20 winters behind me when I enlisted. Yet I was granted the rank of lieutenant from the start. Not by merit, but by
Lieutenant.
birth. The respect of veteran officers, both my peers and seniors, that they could not grant. Nor did I deserve it. To earn that respect became my driving aim. And to seem wise beyond my years, I began spouting off about the king's decisions. This maneuver Reginald botched, that he failed to think through, and yet elsewhere he'd blundered like a schoolboy.
I think we want to encourage independent thinking.
Well, a brilliant strategist Reginald was not. They dubbed him the courageous, not the cunning, for good reason, I dare say.
It was not long before I was clanking about in shackles. Another officer had reported me. I was charged with lèse-majesté.
Lèse-majesté. I don't know. I mean, I can infer what that means, but not familiar with that being a thing that you can be charged
The
with.
court-martial took but a quarter of an hour to deliver verdict and sentence. I was guilty of treason, and the noose awaited me.
Wow.
But Reginald first stayed the execution, then ordered that I repeat every word I'd uttered about his person or deeds. Soaked with sweat, my voice cracking, I did as he ordained. Reginald listened, raptly and silently, and when I'd finished, he declared I was right. He then appointed me his personal aide. A clever lad like you, I can always use at my side.
Alright.
Indeed. Though hardly sharp himself, wisdom in others Reginald both recognized and heeded.
It was then I swore two things. Firstly, never again to wag my tongue like a fool. Secondly, never to betray his trust.
And you never did. Know what he told me moments before he passed? Trust none of them, Meave, save Reynard. The old sod was right about that, at least. I thank you for sharing that tale, Reynard. Truly.
I wonder how it is that she doesn't know, actually. I mean, other than because exposition.
Alas, I've come to fear Willem might simply not be cut out to be a king, let alone a good one.
A harsh judgment, Your Grace. Let's not be hasty. The prince is but 16 summers to him.
And is thus fully grown. The crown he should be able to bear at his age. Yet I left the land in his care for but a few months, and look what's become of it. Bandits roam and loot unchecked.
We might yet learn of mitigating circumstances, events beyond his control.
Would that it were so, Reynard. Would that it were so. Elsewise we must hope Ancaeus will demonstrate more wit than his brother. Though I see little chance of that either. It's time I attended to other matters.
Alright. Exciting story stuff. What is this? Royal tent. The knapsack icon. Okay. Sure. I've received letters. Exciting. Yeah, maybe I should read this aloud. Your Highness, artisans from Gratibor have prepared a new tapestry pattern for the throne room. I've included an engraving of the design. You will be pleased with it, I hope. A Centurion lion inherited from King Coram I. Bared fangs offer stunning realism, and the ancestral sword of Delans of Temeria appears as if forged in the very depths of Mahakam. I've no doubt it shall prove the castle's latest masterpiece. We eagerly await your return, my lady. Gustave Perrault. Or Perrault, maybe? Royal Steward. Is this is supposed to be stunning realism, I guess? Sure. Very realistic. Letter from King Demavend. Alright, well that proves that this is at least before Witcher 2, because spoilers, he's dead at this point. I'm pretty sure he's the one who dies in the opening cutscene to Witcher 2, so I guess it's not really much of a spoiler. Yeah, the guy who's like on the boat. Dear Mev, you've my gratitude for attending the summit. What luck we did not put off meeting any longer. From what my men say, armies on the march are kicking up a veritable dust storm across the Yaruga. Come what may, remember you have my full and unconditional support. Best wishes, Demavend. Okay. Thanks. Ooh, we have reports on Nilfgaardian movements. Noted increased Nilfgaardian activity in foothills of Amel Mountain and near Riedbrunna. Ambassador claims routine training exercises. Number of troops, quality of equipment indicate otherwise. Recommend strengthening border forces and tripling patrols along Yaruga. Well, as a scholar of the history of whatever this world is called, which by which statement I prove my bona fides, I know that the Nilfgaardians will in fact attack at some point, so I will take that seriously. Strays of Spala, bandit group formed after revolt in dungeons of Spala Castle. Mainly pickpockets, racketeers, cut purses, and assassins. Armed with slings, daggers, instruments of torture stolen from Spala, headmen's axes, saws, hammers. Maybe that's why they were wearing those like weird metal things on their heads. Cleverer and bolder than common bandits, attack heavily armed convoys, noblemen's mansions, unable to determine identity of group's leader. Well, I would have said it was Spala, but I guess that's actually where they're from. Oh, yes. Milka's map, okay. Alright. Command tent is the deck thing. Yeah. And then we've got the workshop, which doesn't look like so much of a workshop right now as it does like a pile of stuff. So, okay, I'm not. Oh, I wonder if increase the number of trinkets she can equip to 3. I wonder if like these count as trinkets. Yeah, that must be it. So, we don't have a 3rd trinket, so no reason to do that. Mess tent. Okay, can't do anything with that. Command tent. Use scouts to mark the location of treasure and resources on your regional map. That seems okay. Training grounds. Oh, you can upgrade your cards. That's fun. At least I assume you can, based on the fact that this is a 7, whereas before it was a 3. And were these... I think... Oh, blitz is just a keyword. Never mind. I was wondering what it was earlier. Okay. Okay, so I don't know what... like... what the changes are to these guys. Gain 1 recruit after every battle won. Gained, okay. So I would like to do this, but I don't have enough gold. I don't think I spent, the gold I spent on that 1 extra card was the difference. Needs you to create new support units. Okay, so this is new combat units, and this is new support units. But they're still units, so I don't know if... Actually, I guess that crushing trap might be a trinket, because it has a little chalice icon in the upper left. So I can't afford this, but I assume that I wouldn't actually be able to get anything after buying it. The watchtower could be useful. Let's get a watchtower so we can be less ignorant. I can still do this? No, I can't. So why is it telling me that? Okay. I don't know. Morale is normal. Okay. Oh, what that affects. Remember that you can open your map by clicking on the compass. Okay, let's do that. Ooh. Current location, golden chest, but we already opened it. Okay. Oh, it costs money to scout? But I already paid money. Lame. Is this some sort of merchant?
To be robbed along the high road, and in broad daylight, no less.
I don't think I was
Were it
going
not
to
for
rob you,
mandatory
but I
merchant
can if
routes
you
and sacking
want.
rights, why I'd have gone round, through Sodden. They told me. Lyria's a wild land, lawless, chaotic, a damn disgrace.
How dare you say such things about my kingdom?
Is this what I pay taxes for? To be robbed along the high road, and in broad daylight, no less?
Alright, I guess that guy got robbed by those other bandits and is not... We're not capable of doing anything about that. Oh. Oh, okay. Wait, what? I probably should have spent more time looking at what that said about what morale actually does. Inventory. Ah. Oh, okay. Making an offering doesn't actually cost me anything. That's nice. Oh, here comes some beasties.
Whatever is this filth?
Necrophages. Drawn here by blood scent.
For such vile monstrosities to prowl the high roads of my realm. I won't allow it. Attack!
Alright. Who were these travelers whose bodies now litter the roadside? They had the look of pilgrims who had found misfortune after crossing paths with the strays of Spala. The bandits had slit their throats, leaving the bodies to rot under the sun. They'd likely have known the stench would attract the attention of flesh-hungry scavengers, thus exposing the next passersby to a horrific death. Clearly, this realization hadn't bothered them in the slightest. Bad sorts, these bandits. Alright, well, this is coming up on an hour, and I need to go get some laundry, so I think I'm going to stop this here. So next time, I will fight this battle. Assuming that I'm allowed to, like, not do whatever tutorial-y things it wants me to do. Trophy is a unique type of card, and you can only have one in your deck at a time, so that's the flag, I guess. Will automatically appear on the battlefield at the beginning of the match. Ooh.
Fog in broad daylight, with the heat positively sweltering. Have we to do with some manner of sorcery?
We shouldn't exclude the possibility, my lord. And great caution we must exercise.
Your rows are now covered in fog, which is just one of several row effects you will encounter. Row effects affect all cards on a given row and have either positive or negative consequences. Yeah, so weather is a thing. Going back to the Witcher 3 version, generally speaking, fog, rain, and snow all did the same thing, which is just like knock everything's strength down to 1. But I don't know if that's still going to be the case
Raymond,
here.
what is this? Some spectre? A striga?
I can't be sure, your grace.
All right.
It's the first I've seen of any such thing.
Maybe I can pause here. No, I don't want to forfeit. I just want to save. How do I... forfeit. I wanna save, quit. Save and quit. How do I do that? Alright, what happens if I say yes? Alright, main menu. Good. Alright. Yeah, like I said, next time we'll actually fight that battle.